Well, good evening, Star Wars fans. It's that time. It's time for Holotheatre. Joining me tonight, we brought the band back together for once. We got Jerry, he's joining us, and we got Chris Kelly. I know we were supposed to have Scott Lingarell coming on tonight. He was supposed to come on and talk about everything that happened over this world, some of the stuff that's going to happen next year, but unfortunately he had a little bit of a family emergency, so last minute, Chris Kelly showed up, said, "Hey, I'm here. I'll step in for Scott." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah, I basically begged on my hands and knees to get Chris Kelly on here. But yeah, it's the final episode of 2020, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go over like everything big that happened in the Star Wars CCG world. And I mean, 2020 was kind of a letdown in a lot of ways, but you know what?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But for Star Wars CCG, could it have been any better? I mean,
given the circumstances, we definitely, I think, did the best we could with what we had, for sure. You know,
True.
We've had the really surgence of GEMP being like our online system. It's been working for a couple years, but this year was really the first year that we put it to the major test of running championship level events on there, and the NPC I think went a little worse than Worlds did, but we learned a lot from it.
Agreed.
And we also had 40 more players playing in Worlds. So I was doing commentary for both of those. I didn't play in either of them, but it seemed like everything went as well as we could be expected, for sure. And obviously we ran all the other online events, Texas Mini Worlds, the Corona Cup, and it's been a lot of fun seeing the progression of GEMP and also sort of how fast the meta can move. Because of GEMP, we've definitely sort of we go through a lot more. I think the decks that are the best get found out a little bit faster, and maybe all that stuff. So it's been fun. It's been a good time. Thanks, Dan, for having me on for the final show of the year. I was on, mostly for the beginning of the year. I was sitting alongside you every week. I kind of had a summer of shit, so to speak, with all my health stuff and everything. So I'm glad to be here at the end of the year with you guys and go over all this stuff. And thanks everybody for watching and supporting the PC and all that good stuff. So,
well, it's kind of funny, and it's kind of like Chris, you were on last year for our last episode this time last year. So it's kind of fitting that you come on for the last episode this year. Are we going to continue this as a tradition? You come on and be like on the show every year for the last episode?
Yeah, let's do that. That's fine. I mean, I want to be like the Steve Martin or whoever the guy is that has the most SNL hosting gigs. I want to be that guy.
Awesome.
Well, we're glad to have you. Thanks.
You're up there. I mean, I think you are the person who's come on the most. I know you and I have a back and forth, so it's great to have you on for that. And we have a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. And I thought, you know what? We're gonna start with GEMP. GEMP was the big thing of this year for Star Wars, and we actually have a graph from our resident Siri, Adam Fletcher, better known as Echo Base Trooper. He put together a graph showing all the games of Star Wars CCG that was being played on GEMP. And if you could see the graph, holy crap, this thing is like insane. You can see there's a bunch of spikes around May during this, like as the stay-at-homes and everything started going into full swing and everything.
April looks like when the first spike, really, because I mean, for me, quarantine started March 17th. That was like the first day that it was like stay-at-home order, at least here in Colorado. So yeah, I like seeing that spike right around the 1st of April because that's pretty much when it all hit the fan here in the USA, so to speak.
Oh yeah, and I mean we had a few spikes here and there, and I wanted to attribute mostly. I'm thinking those are attributed to like Texas Mini Worlds, the OCS playoffs and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean you could even see like towards the middle of this January or November or December with Worlds and everything coming up, Holy crap, there's a lot of games. I mean,
another thing that also happened right after the 1st of November was Set 13 coming out.
True.
So, not just Worlds, not just that, but yeah, a brand new set of cards to play with, which we hadn't had any new cards.
Like this year was kind
since
of
March.
Yeah, this year was kind of slow on the cards, but you know what? It was well worth it with Set 13. I think props to design, our design advocate as well, to getting out those cards. How do you like? What are you looking back after Set 13? How did you feel about it, Chris?
Set 13 was an adventure. It obviously the release date was delayed, partially to COVID, but not entirely. Partway through, we realized we probably need to do more than just release more cards to tweak the meta. We probably need to do a few tweaks. So that kind of distracted us a bit from pushing 13 out as we focused on those tweaks. But also, we kind of realized it was the 25th anniversary of the game, and we wanted to do something awesome and amazing. And some of those booster packs that you all are getting in the mail now are directly as a result of us trying to do 13 and 14 kind of simultaneously. So that took on an additional time for us to produce 13 so we could play test 13 and 14 together. I know a lot of play testers mentioned 13 was too big. It was too big. It really wasn't too big. It's just that you also had 14 going with it. You just didn't know it at the time. So props to Menzel and marketing and Kevin and everyone who could make that a possibility. I don't feel like it was as big of a deal as the spoiler from The Mandalorian not getting out, but the fact that they were able to pull off those packs without that getting spoiled, it was pretty good. So props to them.
So speaking of Set 14, what are your initial takes on it? I mean, we've seen some of the cards. We've seen a lot of the in play testing game text and everything. I mean, besides the art, because I mean, come on, this is probably going to be one of the more beautiful sets from what I can tell. But besides all that, how do you feel about Set 14 moving forward?
You're right. Graphics are amazing. Graphics did a fantastic job on everything I've seen so far, so all the credit goes to them. I don't think 14 is going to be as impactful as 13 for the reasons I just said. Obviously, we don't want to make two big sets together. The meta in 13 seems pretty good. We're still looking over some of the stats, thanks to Adam, Siri, as you guys are calling him. We're still looking over the stats to kind of get a full overview of what the impact was on the meta. But I don't think 14 will be as much of an impact, but I can say going forward with design, I'm not ready to announce everything yet. We're still waiting on some final details, but I think there's going to be some stuff that the community as a whole is going to be incredibly excited about. Hopefully maybe in 2 weeks.
I mean,
I'll come on Holotheatre and let you guys know about that.
And so does the Set 14 sort of build on the decks that we created -- helped in Set 13, or is it sort of meant to broaden even more deck types?
Different decks. So I think the three big themes in 13 were obviously Hitgo.
HDV.
We wanted Hitgo. Sorry?
Jerry?
We wanted Hitgo to basically replace Throne Room. Throne Room has had its time in the sun. Throne Room is, I'm sure people know, probably my favorite deck.
Me too.
But it's also the most complained about deck, to be honest. More people hate it than you guys would know. So we wanted to kind of push that aside. But in doing so, Mains does need a home. So it was Hitgo. And we did find that Hitgo seems to be a more fair deck for 2 reasons. 1, it starts a battleground. 2, it doesn't go first.
True.
So we tried to basically replace Throne Room and port it over to Hitgo. I think the stats kind of bear out. We were pretty good at that. It was about 30% of the meta, which is usually around what TRM was, and it was at a 50% win rate. So I think D&D did a great job. Props to everyone on that team, play testing as well, to get Hitgo to where we kind of wanted it. The other decks were obviously Hunt Down V. We wanted a new take on Dark Side mains. It kind of, to be honest, probably played out a little stronger than we anticipated. It was a little bit better than 50%. Usually when we release a new deck, we don't want it to be right up there. But Hunt Down V, probably a little bit stronger. And then obviously Watch Your Step. Shadow Collective was where we wanted it. It's a new deck. It was fun, but wasn't, tier 1. So to answer your question, the set 14 is not going to build on anything we gave all those direct helpers to.
Okay.
It's going to be slightly different themes. It's actually going to be a few helpers for older decks that have kind of fallen out of the meta, and then just a side sub theme some people have been asking for. I don't anticipate it being tier 1, but players are a lot more creative than I am.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear.
I mean, right off the bat, like some of the things I can take a stab at are, we're getting a first order Emperor, so that right there is kind of cool. The gears in my head are turning. Well, is this going to be? You can use them in the map objective, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess a spoiler out there. Map is one of the decks we're going to try to push towards being competitive. But I like the way we're doing it because we're kind of changing it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the standard beat down with troopers. It's going to be a little different flavor on map. Still the same cards players are familiar with using the map objective and some of the starting locations, but just different take on it. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. But yeah, the Emperor is a centerpiece to that.
Yeah. And
which he has been all along, right? You guys just didn't know it.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
somehow he's been part of our design plans ever since we released map. We just
didn't know.
Putting him out now. But he's always been in the plans. Always.
And I will say this, like the card that besides that one of the cards that speaks to me is the Din Djarin card, or better known as the Mandalorian. I'm excited for that one just because, come on, how could you not love the Mandalorian, especially after that season finale?
I still have 2 episodes, so no.
That's
spoilers.
why I didn't say anything, Jerry.
All right, I'm getting there.
I know Chris is like holding it in as much as he can. But
I don't have Disney Plus, so I had to steal them off the internet and stuff. So I got 2 more left to watch. It's been crazy so far, though. Like with the Ahsoka Tano and all that. I guess I shouldn't go too in for other people who maybe haven't seen it. But yeah, it's exciting. I know a lot of people out there, like on the Slack chat and stuff, are always asking for Mandalorian cards and all that. So I'm go ahead.
As of now, there's not as much Mandalorian stuff in 14 in playtesting. I think because of its popularity, we're going to try to push a few more cards from that show into playtesting to hopefully get him into 14. I think there's a good demand for it. And I think, once you watch the whole season, you'll see it'll be exciting. So we are trying to audible push some more cards into playtesting from the Mandalorian.
I do have one request. This is a simple one. We need to get Steve Baroni dressed up as Bill Burr's character.
As the which character?
Bill Burr's character. The marksman guy. I can't remember his name.
He was in the first season.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was on the. It starts with like an M. If anybody could like shoot it in the chat, let me know. It's like I forget who it is, but we need like Baroni or Desai or somebody with a thick Boston accent, because that would be perfect.
Mayfield. The Mandalorian.
Mayfield.
Anyone who might be getting their packs, see the AI Mandalorian. I want to give credit to Grady, longtime player. Everyone knows I'm one of the nicest guys in Star Wars. It's his player card. I didn't realize it until today when I got the card in the mail. His name's not on the preview on the foil. I feel bad about that. I regret that. But it is his card. He should get credit for it.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's a great, great design card. It really captures the feel of Mandalorian from season 1.
So, are we going to get a Baby Yoda in set 14?
Grogu?
Baby Yoda. For people who haven't...
I did get to that episode. I
okay,
know
fine.
His name is the child. It's not anything else. But
are we going to get one?
My son gets so mad if anyone calls him anything except Baby Yoda. He'll tolerate the child, but that's it. That's it.
I think he would work out better as like a Insidious prisoner type card, where like You know, maybe there's an objective where it's like, oh, he's here, and then you put the Mandalorian there, and you escort him somewhere else, and the dark side wants to escort.
I agree with that.
Like
That's
that.
cool.
That seems like a cool way to do the Baby Yoda style, because I mean, he wouldn't be a Jedi, he wouldn't be a Padawan. It would be just kind of like, it might end up being sort of a numpty character that would have to do something really cool for him to actually see play. But maybe if there was a deck that was based around him, like an Insidious prisoner type thing, that's how I've always imagined him working out in my head. But that's
I
kind of Jerry, important question then. What's the underlying card?
Walkling might be good. I know people have suggested that one.
I was gonna say Yoda's. I was gonna say Yoda. Why not Yoda?
Something with Yoda in it might be kind of cool. But yeah, I'd have to look more into that. I know Walkling was definitely suggested as one of them, but
Bill Kafer, fan of the show, is saying Yoda, you seek Yoda.
That's a good one. Yoda, you seek Yoda. Yeah. Or like found someone you have, maybe.
There you go.
That could work.
Yeah.
I got for Christmas this sweet Baby Yoda coffee mug. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that is cool.
It's like it's got his whole little thing. It's like his whole little stroller. So gotta show that off.
But I mean, we had a lot of fun with like the V cards. The V cards were great this year, but I mean, we got to go back into some of the tournaments. And I'll tell you what, this year was exciting, not only for the V cards, but the tournaments were amazing. Especially if
you guys remember when we had a major in person this year in January?
Well, Chris Kelly doesn't because he wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there. You and I were there. I was doing commentary. You were playing. Endor Grand Prix was this January, and it feels like it was like 3 years ago at this point, for sure.
Oh yeah, I agree. And like looking back at the Endor Grand Prix, it was fun.
That was what Hayes won that one, right?
Hayes won that one, and that was the first tournament of the year. So, and I'll tell you what, like it was the first tournament for the Tweak set. A lot of those new cards came out. Like
no, the Tweak set wasn't out yet.
It was.
Was it?
Was the preview cards?
Yeah, I think it was.
So like Side Tour Calfast V.
Oh, that's right.
Luke Rebel Scout V was out and everything. Because I remember Joe Olsen beat me down using those cards.
Okay, now you might be right. Yeah, I just remember that set 12 wasn't released until March, but the Tweak stuff was out. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And set 12 was available for the NPC. Who won it?
The NPC was won by Hayes as well, right?
Yeah. Hayes
Over
went
JJD.
Hayes went back to back for the NPC. We also had, I'm going to say this. My favorite event of the year was Texas Mini Worlds. Robbie did a great time with that one. It was able to test the pods and everything. It was a great idea. We implemented those for Worlds, and it was a great event.
Yeah.
MHT came back, won that one over Greg Shaw. And I will say this. I like how we expanded from a top 8 to a top 16. That showed like players, not the best, not even like a lot of the best players could make it, like me.
Yeah. Like, but you did make it.
I did make it, but I lost to Bill, so I don't feel too bad.
No, yeah, and I mean, like doing a top 16 is sort of similar to how we do the OCS, where you have 16 qualifiers and whatever. So I like that, and the way Robbie was able to set the Texas Mini Worlds up as almost like a test for when we were going to do regular Worlds. With having lots of people playing all at the same time and online and all that, and to give us a summer major. Was also, a good idea. We were planning on having nationals in Colorado, but obviously, all the in-person events got canceled. So thanks, Rob, and everybody else who was involved doing commentary, doing help with that. That was a fun time.
It was a grind. It was a grind.
It was a little bit of a grind, and it ended up taking a little while to get it like all the way completed. But just having a volunteer came up with that and put it through, and we got it done. And so
having volunteers who do that is just a great thing. Like, you don't have to be an advocate to come up with a good idea for Star Wars CCG. You really don't.
Yep. No, I tell people a lot, in Slack chat or on the forums, like if you have a good idea and you want something to be different, you've got to be the change that you want to see in the world. You and I and Robbie before, we wanted there to be more, Twitch content or video content. Yeah. So we started doing Holotheatre, and so you just got to sort of, be the change that you want to see sometimes. And if there's ever stuff out there that you're like, hey, this could be like maybe Adam with all of his stats and all that stuff. And
Jared with all the stuff he does on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Take charge and help us out, and we will support you once you kind of know, once we know what you're doing, but we don't always, with all of us, we don't know exactly what, everyone else out there wants to see and all that. So yeah, thanks, Rob. Thanks everybody who participated in Texas. That was a good time. Congrats to MHT for whenever Matt plays, I feel like he always has a really good performance. He's he knows what he's playing. He plays usually sort of like different decks. I know he's a big fan of like QMC, big fan of like ROPS and stuff like that. He even played ROPS at Worlds, which not a lot of people did. He's a good player, and I always trust him to finish in the top, echelon of the events.
I will say this though, he didn't get the memo that figuring out that Worlds is hit Co and hunt down V.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got that memo, so maybe he's in New Zealand or something, right? Maybe he just didn't check his email.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though. He's ahead of us at the time, so he's in the future.
So he was asleep at the time we sent the email out.
He should have known all about it. But yeah, in between Texas and the Worlds, we also had two other events. We had the OCS Championship, which was great. I want to say it was Paul Myers versus Justin Desai for the finals. Justin Desai came out on that one. We also had the European Cup, also known as something else that we're not allowed to say on the show. But yeah, team, I want to say it was a German, an Englishman, and a Canadian walk into a bar.
It's a good team name.
How can you beat that team name? And that team was Bastion, Justin Branch, and MHT. So
they're all good players too.
All good players. And then we go.
How stacked is that team? Is that
right? Hey, I mean, I'll tell you what. The team that came in second though was this Matt Lutz's team, CRG, with Alex 1. I don't know. Again, I'm not 100% sure of the players, and then Mighty Maul as well.
There you go. I know CRG has had a really good year.
CRG really had a good year. He's got to be up there. I've been chatting
with him for a couple of years now, just on the side and things, and he's a really good human being, number one, and then the way he was able to. Basically, he started out as playing Hyperdrive only and losing all of his games, and then he realized, there's other cards and there's other decks, and now he's pretty good. So,
I was lucky.
Good on you, Matt.
Yeah, I was happy. I got a Christmas card from Matt Lutz this year. I was just like, this is great.
Yeah, I got one too. So, what about you, Chris?
I didn't get one.
Ooh,
is it because I didn't make a Hyperdrive helper?
That's right. Yes. That's right. Because you're bashing Hyperdrive.
When are you going to make a Hyperdrive helper?
They just made Qui-Gon and Meditation. Those are Hyperdrive helpers. So, or is that a player card? I don't know.
Are they though?
Qui-Gon definitely is.
On Slack, I was talking with some people. They were voicing their preference for design to, I guess, take more people's ideas. Mm-hmm. And I gave an example of there have been times when we talk with people, they have good ideas, and we put them into cards. And I didn't mention the player, but the player was Matt. Matt kind of redesigned Hyperdrive, and if you look at the Hyperdrive that D&D put out, it's almost exactly what Matt Lutz said. So there's a real life example of players being active, sharing ideas, and us adopting them so the entire community can enjoy them.
There you go.
So if Matt doesn't get me a Christmas card from Matt, making his dream card into a real card, then I don't know. He's dead to me.
Wow. Matt Lutz, I hope you're not watching, because holy crap, Chris Kelly just put you on blast.
I also I sent Scotland Grell a Christmas card with a Max Rebo in it, so that was clutch.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Apparently his wife opened it, so she got Reboed.
I didn't send any this year, but I know next year I'm gonna once I move back to the East Coast, which is kind of funny because I know before this we were talking, like Chris is like, oh yeah, I'm moving to Oklahoma. I'm like, I'm moving back to Pennsylvania. I'm moving back to the East Coast. I'm not going to be able to play against Chris Kelly again? What the heck is wrong?
I'm sure you'll be able to play against Chris Kelly. You guys both
We travel.
And
but he's always at the top tables. The one event, literally the one event that I go to where I make a top table, he's not there. That makes me sad.
You think that's a coincidence? Maybe the only reason why you were able to make that top table is because Chris wasn't there.
Touche. But yeah, our last event though was a great event. Was Worlds. Worlds was fantastic and had 100 players on GEMP. How crazy is that? 100 people sitting in front of their computer playing Star Wars CCG on 2 weekends. I know
it was crazy.
Jerry,
I was doing commentary. I wasn't
you
playing.
and I did commentary. Chris, I think he played. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about playing, but like I had all sorts of weird work stuff, and I was working at the restaurant at the time, and we didn't know if we were going to get shut down. I didn't know if I was going to have to work. Like everything was just not set up for me to play. So I was just like, all right, I'll just do commentary. I was pretty excited to play. It would have been my first major or whatever that I played in this year. And because Set 13 really re-energized me. The summer meta and I did not get along. I'm not a big fan of No Idea, ISB.
I think a lot of people said the same thing.
Those are sort of the big decks over the summer, and so I was glad that those ones, the Slip Sliding Away got errated. No Idea got some changes to it. And then we also just released, a bunch of new cards and changed up Watch Your Step, which has always been a big favorite deck of mine. So I was pretty excited to play in Worlds, but didn't end up happening. But did a lot of good commentary. That was a good time. There was some really cool decks that I saw. Some good games. Congrats! Congrats to everybody who was in that, who made top 8.
Who made the top 8? Because I know it was the guy who won it, who's Joe Olson.
Yep, Joe.
Bastion was there. Justin, Fernando, coming out of nowhere. Yeah, Jared Napolitano made his first top 8. I want to say it's his first top 8. Jared's in the chat, so he can quote me. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. There was Jared, Paul Myers made his first top 8. Kieran, and who else made a top 8? I can't think of anybody else.
Jared actually made me on day 1 or day 2. Maybe almost rage quit. He played AOBS and I'm playing Hitgo, and the SOB plays Monarch lost.
Oh yeah, I did a game with Jared, and he monarched my Team High Ground teammate Bob. He was playing WAP against AOBS, and Bob drew up a really big hand, and he just used Monarched him and just like set him back so far. But yeah, I mean Monarch is always been a blowout card. So
you know what? Hey, wasn't there a shield that was just put out for Monarch?
Yeah, it's for Lost Monarch. So
and you said Jared just played Monarch Lost on you, Chris.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he got 2 loops, right?
I thought about pulling the shield. I'm like, there's no way he would play Monarch Lost so early in the game. Sure enough. Boom. My Lukes go to Lost, and Luke's even more important, not just in Hitgo, but versed AOBS.
Yep.
And now that's why I won't send Jared a Christmas card.
Did you win or lose that game?
He lost that game. AOBS was undefeated, as far as I remember.
Yeah. So, Jared played extremely well with his AOBS. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I'm tongue in cheek. Jared played masterfully. Jared had that game won either way.
Yeah, all the games of his that I saw, he played really well. He definitely deserved to be there.
Yeah, I will say I'm a huge fan of AOBS. I like the old build with it, where you had the 2 spies. You could
Never Urinal
and everything. I like that.
Oh,
but it's really abusive. So, okay, Chris, in my defense...
I'm with Jerry. The No Idea ISB meta was awful. All the undercover spies in AOBS were awful.
I'm going to say this. In my defense, I'm also a blue player when it comes to Magic. And I like to tell people no. So I'm trying to transition that to Star Wars to make myself better.
So blue is like the control
Oh yeah.
style, right?
Oh yeah.
It's been a long time since I played Magic, but I did remember that. So yeah, so blue is like,
I say
ISB and OA and that kind of stuff, right?
100%. Like,
yeah, I don't play that stuff, which is probably why I have more friends.
That's all.
Love it.
I was gonna say you have more trophies, but wow. Wow.
He cut deep, man. Chris cuts deep.
You know what? I need to go make a vote for for something really quick. Wow.
Yeah. So
you're not getting a Christmas card from me ever now, Chris.
The postal service is hurting with all the people not sending Christmas cards.
Oh yeah, hands down, Bill. That was burn of the year, hands down. Which is funny because before this, in the marketing / Holotheatre threads, we've been talking about doing like special awards to be given out. So yeah, that's hands down. That's got to be the burn of the year.
Burn of the year.
Burn of the year. Make it so. Somebody send me the trophy already. I got it. Send
what's the prize for burn of the year?
A Zippo.
Some hot sauce.
Aloe vera.
But moving on, yeah, Chris, you made the top 8. You made top 4. You played ridiculously well. I want to say you went 6-0 day 1.
6-0, but if you look at the Gemp history, it's actually 7-0.
Yeah, Chris Kelly breaks Gemp going 7-0.
Yeah, he went 7-0 in only 6 games. So I mean,
right?
that's clutch.
That is.
I knew I'd needed the wins, Yeah. Back up against the wall, I just had to do it.
Got to get those victory points.
And then you actually got your revenge against Jared, I want to say, was in the top 8.
I got super lucky. He again played AOBS masterfully. And then I got the good matchup, good draw against his legend. And Jared played great. Jared played great.
Awesome. But yeah, I mean, that right there's a rundown of 2020 Star Wars CCG. I mean, like I said, even though we didn't have a lot of in-person activities, everybody got to miss out on their favorite Avalon, Games of Avalon, or Secret Hitler, or all the shenanigans afterwards that I know Chris never participates in.
He's too busy deck building for day 3, right?
I don't know, or he doesn't come to events. But I know next year's going to be really awesome. At least from what I know. I know right now, from what Scott has told me, there are reservations in place for the NPC and for Worlds. Right now, the PC is taking everything as it can and waiting on to see what is going on with the vaccine, the pandemic, all that fun stuff, because nobody wants to get sick playing Star Wars. I mean,
right, and we all want to be relatively sure that if we go on an airplane and travel somewhere and all that, spend money to go have a good time, that it's not going to be, a bad time.
Now, I know Worlds is planned to be in DC next fall, so that is going to be a great event. I cannot wait for Worlds. We're going to have... I know I'm planning some big giveaways for Worlds for next year, because
there you go.
We took a year off, essentially, from having Star Wars in person. Why not go big, right?
I agree. Yeah. In addition to the 2 events that you just mentioned, we were planning on having that.
There goes my Discord. 1 second, everyone. I will bring these guys back.
2021 in Denver. In the month of July is where we're looking towards. So, hopefully, obviously, I don't have as much nailed down as maybe Scott does with Worlds and the NPC. But yeah, assuming everything is going swimmingly and we're allowed to congregate and do all that kind of stuff, keep your calendar open for the middle of July for a Denver area event, much like we were planning on having, this year. So have a Rockies game, go to the baseball stadium, all that. Dan's back. All right.
Yeah, I had Discord dropped on me, but we got it back.
It's been known to happen. I carried the load while you were gone. Definitely always. keep your calendars marked for July. Also, say I don't know if Dan, you had specific months where the NPC and Worlds could be, but just letting everybody know that also Nationals in Denver, fingers crossed, will be in July.
And
so
I can't wait. I know, like I said, there is we're gonna have some really nice awards to give out at Worlds next year, as long as it is in person. Kevin Yap and myself are working on those really a lot, so be on the lookout for those. Outside of that, I mean, what are we? So you said that Set 14 is going to come out next year, Chris. What's the time frame for that? Do we have a time frame?
I always hate giving time frames because
just general,
early. I want to leave it. I want to be able to get it out early, and if we're running a little behind because of something, I don't want to disappoint people. I'll just say that I think most of 14, except for maybe some of the Mandalorian stuff, maybe another side theme, is done.
Okay.
But again, maybe in about 2 weeks, I can make a better announcement as far as some exciting things for D&D, which will allow us to release sets a little more frequently, a little smaller sets, but a little more responsive and adaptive.
That's great. That sounds good. Because, I mean, I was kind of looking at stuff when Dan and I were getting ready for the show, and I didn't realize it, but did you know we only released 67 cards for Star Wars in the year 2020?
It's not enough.
It seems like a low number to me. And obviously, there was some of those were tweak cards, and those I didn't include any cards that were errata in that. We had 61 cards in Set 13, and then 6 cards in Set 12. Is that? I guess what I'm kind of going with this is I think smaller sets more often will give us a better chance to attack how quick the meta moves, basically because of GIMP nowadays. And is that sort of where you're leaning into that?
Yeah, Jerry, I think you hit the nose on the head, the head on the nose on the head.
The nose, a hammer on the head. Nail on the head. That's where it goes, I think.
You're hitting noses, you're hitting heads, you're hitting nails.
I'm violent.
You hit it all.
Calm down, Jerry.
With what you said in the beginning, as far as GIMP kind of accelerating the meta, and also it's a lot easier to copy decks now when deck lists are posted, and you can just download them. And also when you're observing it on GIMP games, so the meta, I don't want to say gets solved ever, but the meta can get stale pretty quickly as the decks get known. So I think that doing more frequent, smaller releases shakes things up without disturbing the entire Jenga tower. So if we release a 60-card set, who knows what's going to happen? I think Watch Your Step performed a little bit better, and Hunt Down performed a little bit better than we anticipated. But if we release smaller sets, we're not messing with everything in the meta, just a few things. And I also think we can kind of look forward to some more things being tweaked. And that will allow us to keep things fresh without disturbing what is otherwise a very good game. Worlds was so popular this year. I think people were tired of the ISB no idea meta. I think we fixed it. I think ISB still is a deck. I think no idea is still a deck, but they're not the dominant powerhouses for grindy games. I think the game's actually in a really good spot. I don't want to upset the whole boat, but I want to keep it fresh.
The meta definitely feels so much better. Like I didn't play very much over the summer. I had some health issues or whatever, but just the meta was just so boring that I didn't even want to try to think about it and get into it. But as soon as Set 13 came out, it's like, okay, well, I have 3 new objectives I can play. I know there's been some tweaks to the way no idea and the damage and the slip siding away got errata to it would slow down ISB a little bit, and the meta is a lot better in November than it was in August and July. So definitely you guys definitely hit a good hit it out of the park with Set 13, and I hope we can just continue building on that. I love the idea of possibly just keeping things a little fresher and putting out, instead of 2 sets a year that are ones that 60 cards and whatever, maybe 2 30 card sets, but maybe release 4 or 5 10 card sets, and then you get to a similar number of cards, but maybe you're just like, okay, well now there's something new, and we can address. HDV is being annoying and Watch Your Step is being annoying, so maybe the next set addresses that or whatever. I love hearing from you guys that you're listening, because I know that I'm not alone in wanting cards be released faster and smaller sets and all that. So 100%. Thank you guys for at least listening and being willing to try it and see how it goes. And
something I'm actually pretty proud of with D&D now is I don't think we fear errata. I think errata used to be a stigma that there was a failure. And I think now with cards coming out and more cards coming out, it doesn't mean that the initial card was a failure. It just means in this current meta, the card needs to be tweaked.
Exactly.
And I'm really proud of D&D. They embrace it. They're not scared of changing things, whether it's because there was a mistake or because we can improve it. And I think we saw that in the tweak set. And I'm really happy with how that was received. And I think that empowered us to say, hey, let's release this. And if something needs to change, we can change it. We live in a GEMP era. So I'm really proud of how D&D has kind of changed the way we think. And we don't fear errata. We're willing to change things. We're willing to try different things. So I think just by tweaking things, we keep things fresh as well. So that's one thing I'm happy with.
I remember, back in the Legacy era, and even sort of the beginning of whatever era we call it now, there was like, it was like a fight club. You don't talk about this. It was very much behind the scenes, behind the curtain, and I felt like design and development, etc., were like, it was so secretive that and also maybe part of that was, like you said, that they errata the card, they felt like it was a failure. And I know, like, not wanting to have constantly changing slips for cards, some people kind of gripe when they have to, I showed up to the tournament with this one, now it doesn't do that. But if you're not paying attention, to the development of the cards, and you're not going on GEMP to see things, like, you need to pay attention to what we're doing. Like, you can't just show up. I'm guessing other people in other games, Dan, I know you play Magic a little bit. Can you just show up to Magic with a year-old deck and expect it to win? I don't think that should be
it depends. But I mean, but what it comes down to is, like, I will say this, at least with Star Wars, we have that possibility of correcting mistakes, whereas a game like Magic where, we print this overpowered card, ban. You just remove the card, you can't use it. Well, that kind of sucks. Like, it really sucks. Like, I go out and spend, say, $80 on a playset of a card, and then 2 weeks later it's banned. Well, it sucks for you, kid.
Because at least with our game, you might errata it, you might change it a little bit, but you're still, like, I know the way that Star Wars design philosophy is never to ban cards, and I'm sure, like, while we have defensive shields, we have hard counters, we have soft counters, we get around the banning of stuff by just removing it from the game, even though you can still play it. And so I'm glad that we've always maintained that, because I don't like just straight banning cards if there's not a good reason for it, and obviously, like Magic, they have their rotations, they're trying to make money, etc. We're not trying to make money, we're just trying to have a great game, a good fun time, and I think we do a good job of keeping things place where you don't need.
I will say, if we're going to try and make money, it's going to be through content like Holotheatre.
That's right. I mean, and we're a nonprofit, so we're not trying to make money. So
no, we're trying to get money. We're trying to make money so that players like a Joel Olsen can walk away with a nice fat check for winning Worlds.
Well, that, and also so that we can make cool foil slips,
surprises, everything that
I'm wearing. And
where's mine, Chris? Where's my shirt?
Talk to Scott, but I was telling my girlfriend I had to play like 2 weekends of cards, and she wasn't excited. And then I told her how much money I won. She's like, "Oh, okay,
all right."
But yeah, and as far as what Jerry was saying too, like, we're not in it to make money. That also is a reason why we're not releasing hundreds of cards a year.
Yeah.
We're not Decipher. We don't need to put 7 worthless cards in a booster pack so that you're pulling for the rare.
Yeah, you do.
Try not to have bloat. It was only 61 cards, but hopefully those were 61 impactful cards that will see decks, rather than just waste ink on someone's printer to never.
And we've definitely done a lot better at that than the Legacy era. Like, if you go through some of the Legacy like card lists, there's so many cards that even I didn't like. I played a lot of the Legacy era. I don't even remember them existing, and it's just like, well, at least most of the virtual cards that we have now, most of them have a place. They go in some decks. There certainly are some that are misses, that have didn't hit the mark, and maybe sort of with I remember the tweak set, lowering power level of cards is one thing that we did, but we also wanted to build some up. Bring some cards that we kind of missed on that card. Let's strengthen it up and see if that works. So I'd be interested to see if we do any more of that to kind of accentuate the meta as well.
Right, like, are you telling me you want to see the Luke effect made better?
No,
I didn't say anything about that.
No,
that's what I'm hearing. Got it.
That's what you hear anytime anybody says something about Star Wars.
Now, I will say this, though. One of the better things that you guys did was getting rid of young Skywalker and combining it essentially with Luke Rebel Scout. Like, that was a great idea. I like that. But if we're talking about bad cards, can we fix the V4X speeder, please? I want to use it. It's like,
it is a card that hasn't seen much play.
I forgot you designed that card because anytime someone plays Tarkin's Bounty, you go off on it. But you forget who actually created the content for Tarkin's Bounty.
You and I did.
Yeah, I mean, they can't all be winners.
For punishing one. Any player who wants their card to be better really needed me to be a PCD when they were doing their card. Because every time someone suggests something, someone's like, it's too good. I'm like, no, let's make it better.
Right. Yeah, no, hands down. Hands down, everybody. This man, he was the best player card designer we had.
I think with regards to the ski speeder, it's just really hard to make non-enclosed vehicles work.
Yeah.
Like all the other vehicles that see moderate play or even heavy play, like walkers, speeders, they all protect you from weapons. And I know that the ski speeder has a thing that you can use the ability or whatever. I remember, you probably know because you created it, but is it use the ability number as a defense value?
No, it's a set 5.
It's an equals 5?
Whatever, yeah, it equals 5. So your Rose equal 5. Your Chewie equals 5.
Yeah. And that is powerful text for an unenclosed vehicle, but just the fact that they can still get hit with lightsabers, right? Or no, I guess you have to target the right. I forget.
No, you can target the character. Yeah,
that's right. You can still target the character with the lightsaber, and it's like,
5
is good, but 2 draws with how high destinies are nowadays, like it's you draw 2 Inquisitors and have that card out, then that's a 17 destiny or something. So
yep, pretty much. That's why I'm just like, it needs to be changed. But that's besides the nose.
Just take off just put the word enclosed on it, and I think you're
good. Jerry, don't get me started.
All right,
you're a genius, Jerry.
Don't get me started.
My moments.
Card development team.
Don't get me started. But yeah, we got.
I can't even get my own player cards through though. Yeah. All my ideas get shot down.
But you know what? We went off on a little bit of a tangent here, really quick. But there's a lot more. There is a lot other stuff that we have to look forward. Gemp is getting a new interface. We spoiled that at Worlds. That looks great. We're looking to have that out in February. I know Eric is working on another project, so be on the lookout for that. We're planning on releasing the information for the donation packages, the league kits, hopefully by the end of January. We're shooting for the end of January for those. So we're going to have a lot of information in the next couple of weeks. I want to say next week for the first episode of Holotheatre 2021, Paul Myers is going to come on.
Yeah, okay. Paul.
So is that going to take an extra hour or?
Maybe. Who knows? It's Paul.
Like we all went there at the same time.
Right? But it's going to be Paul. I'm excited to have Paul on with me instead of like Scott, because that's going to be great. The OCS is going to start sometime in February, so be on the lookout for an announcement from Chris. I know he's getting ready with his Twitch review shows and everything soon, so that's going to be great.
You should say Gogolin when we have a Chris on the show.
We have so many freaking Chris's. Can we just do a battle with the Chris's?
When we have one on the show, you should certainly differentiate. That's all I'm saying. If Scott was on the show and you said Chris, I think people would have been a little more. But
that's fair. But
all right.
We got a lot to. I mean, like I said, we got a lot of store for next year. But first thing, we're gonna do one of our last favorite segments before we sign off for tonight. Chris, are you ready?
Is this the lore challenge? Lore Wars?
Your lore challenge, sir. Okay.
You didn't tell me what the card was either, so I could actually guess.
Yes. I'll leave it out to both of you.
All right.
Your lore challenge
go.
is a light side.
Wait, hold on. Are you not putting it on the screen, right?
I'm going to put the text on the screen.
Oh, so I can keep
You
my
can
screen
actually
open.
Yes, you can have it open.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
watching this
actually started doing this for a little while, so it's a light side effect. That's all I'm telling you.
Light side effect. Okay.
Actually, no, wait, hold on. Let me double check. Okay, it's a light side.
red card.
It's a light side card.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you.
So it's all right. So it's not an effect, or it might still be.
I don't know.
All right. Whatever. Okay.
Your lore challenge is: you must feel the force around you, here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes, even between the land and the ship.
I have a couple of guesses.
Okay.
It's a light side card.
It is a light side card. Who would like to go first?
I have 2 guesses.
You get one.
I get 1.
You get one
right,
each
Jerry,
because there's
wanna
2 of
go
you.
First?
Okay. So it's a light side card. You've got it on the screen. You must feel the force around you, here between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's got to be some sort of Dagobah, like Jedi training type helper.
No, see, I don't think it is. I don't think it's Jedi training.
Okay. So that's where I'm feeling. I'm gonna go with at peace.
Chris?
Okay. I'm torn between Starship Levitation.
That was the other one
and
I was thinking of.
Do or do not.
Yeah, Starship Lev was one that I wanted.
Which one do you want to go with?
You said it was an effect?
No, he took that away. He said it's just a light side card.
So it's not an effect.
I don't know.
At first he said that, but then
I know, but I'm not telling you.
Didn't that again. So that's also why I sort of leaned into at peace. But
you must feel the force around. I'm gonna go with Starship Levitation because I think if it was an effect, you wouldn't have withdrawn the effect.
That's fair.
Okay, hold on. Is this your final answer?
Yes.
Okay, they are both wrong. I'm giving it to the chat. First person in the chat, you have 30 seconds. Starting now. First person. You know what? You guys can have this chance too. First one between you and the chat. First person to get it gets the prize. Go.
Okay. I know which card it is now. I looked it up. No, I just looked it up, so I cheated. I was close.
Nobody in the chat. Nobody in the chat has gotten it.
I was close. I was closer than Chris was.
Time up.
That's a hint, but
that's it. Time's up. The card is Yoda's Hope.
Yeah, that's why I went Jedi Training Helper because I'm like,
Yeah.
It sounds.
So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this. Scott was supposed to come on. Right?
Okay, I get it.
And I couldn't. It says effect. This is
effect. This is.
That's why I said I didn't know if it was an effect or not.
I see what you were doing there. This is an effect.
Okay, so
the lore sounded like something Jedi training-y, and then you started with effect and took it away. So that's why I went with like at peace. I don't even know.
That was a good one. I actually, you know what's funny? At Peace was the first one I went to, and I was just like, no, this seems a little too easy.
I gotta see what the lore on
that. I agree. Starship Lev would be a better card to have that lore.
Yeah, that was the one. I first thing I thought of was, can I get your ship out? But that's a dark side card. So I was like, what's the light side like counter to that or whatever? And that's Starship Lev.
So we have
Can
one.
we errata cards to have different lores? Can we swap the lores?
No, not in the agreement.
No, the lore for at peace is way too easy. You just get it. Because the last 2 words are at peace. So it's to recover from the strenuous Jedi training routine and to realize the mind and body, or vitalize the mind and body, an apprentice must rest to be calm and at peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's too easy because the last 2 words are
at peace. So we got one last thing to give away tonight. And for the last 2 weeks, we have basically had everybody vote on their favorite guest of the year. So,
I voted.
Everybody had the chance to go to the site. You can see that there was a bunch of people. I had a nice big long list of people that were on Holotheatre. And so our guest of the year.
How many episodes of Holotheatre did we do this year?
51. 51. 51.
So we never took a week off, is what you're saying?
We took 1 week off.
1 week off.
Impressive, guys.
Yeah. See, it kind of got in the summer. I was like, I need a little bit of a break. I need some help here. And we started getting some more guests.
Justin Desai came on. Like Robbie
Justin came on. Rob came on. Scott was doing some. So I thank everybody who helped pick up some of my slack. I'm planning on being back for 2021. Maybe not every single week, but at least probably like once a month or so for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'll be here. I think I missed only 2 weeks plus the week that we took off this year. Oh yeah, I'm stalling until our guest of the year, and it was close. Our guest of the year got out of 16% of the vote.
16% was Chris Kelly?
Yeah.
Stop the counts, man. This was rigged. We're rigged.
How?
Rigged.
Seriously, how could people seriously?
Dan, why don't you just spin that and say 84% of the people don't like me?
Well, it's 83.3%. No, so congrats, Chris. I'm glad. I love it. Like, you know what? You deserved it, man. You put up with me. You come on here all the time. Yeah. You know what? I'll actually post all the. No, you didn't get 3 votes, Bill. Jerry Darcy got 3 votes. Bill, actually, I'm sorry, man. You didn't get any votes. Second
Jerry
was
Darcy was his guest host and he didn't win?
Right.
Give Jerry the award.
Who, me?
Jerry Darcy.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
But
I wasn't on the list because I wasn't a special guest. I was a co-host.
You were a co-host. But Chris, you will get our special Holotheatre Guest of the Year card.
I always like that with me as the Vader.
Yeah. I mean,
it's pretty great.
That is great.
All for voting. There's obviously a lot of good people there. I do appreciate it.
I still can't believe we did over 50 episodes in a year. Like that's awesome.
No, you guys are great.
So thanks to everybody who was watching us this year. That was crazy. I didn't think that we would do that many episodes.
I agree. So Chris, you have 2 minutes. Please please present give us your acceptance speech.
I didn't know this was coming, and I feel like you guys, people out there, have heard enough of me. But no, the game is in a great spot. Really excited with the things that I'm hoping to announce maybe in about 2 weeks, which are going to involve the community and keep things going. I agree with Jerry with the meta wasn't so great. I think 13 shook it up really well. Worlds was the most heavily attended Worlds we've had in a long time. The game can obviously be improved. It can always be improved, but it's so good right now. And I really, honestly, truly think it's just going to keep getting better. We have more access to data that we didn't have before. Mm-hmm. We just have a lot of good personalities out there, too, that are willing to share their ideas on the forums, on Slack, and talk candidly about things. I think of late I've been noticing there's less egos in the game, more idea sharing, more back and forth, more constructive feedback, and also people realizing sometimes they might have a great idea that's just not the current direction, and just the way the community interacts is only going to make the game get better. So I'm really happy about that. And, thanks obviously to everyone who voted, and thanks to you guys for putting the shows together, give me something to do, once a week and watch the shows and keep playing GEMP, and hopefully we'll get to see each other, in real life at a real event soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. I know being in your position is hugely, you're very public, you're out facing, people know what you do, you design the fucking cards, right? And it's, you're in the limelight. Sorry, I swore there, you meant to beat me. But people know what you do and that you're in charge of making all the cards. So if the cards aren't fun, they immediately point right to you, right? Or at least your department, and you're the head of it. So being the guy who has to kind of, take the shit for when, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm out of practice.
Potty mouth.
have to take all the crap when it's flung your way. It can't be easy, and certainly we probably don't agree on everything, but I'm very glad that we have you and that you're a person who's willing to listen. And to take ideas and to use them and make the game the best it can be. Set 13, you guys knocked it out of the park for sure.
So, thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it. I'll pass it on to D&D. We definitely appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, again, that's all we got for this year, everybody. So,
which words can I fit in?
None, because that's it. That's all we got time for tonight. So, again, I want to thank Chris Kelly for coming on, our guest of the year, everybody. It's kind of funny because at the beginning he was like, "Well, I guess I'm coming in for gone for guest of the year." I was like, "No, you're coming on for replace Scott." I know, and go figure. You're the guest of the year. Hey, Nerfer. Hey, seriously, Jerry, Danik Ferrick.
Oh, okay. Sure. What does that mean?
I don't know. But thanks, Jerry, for coming on. I missed you, buddy. It's not the same without you. I mean, nobody could fill in your shoes.
Oh, Dan, I was sort of bummed out that I wasn't able to do as much as I could this summer and early in the fall. But
yeah,
and also it's one thing I kind of noticed is like when you guys know about how much we volunteer when we do all this stuff. And when you get so in and you're volunteering at such a high level and then you take a step back, it's really hard to get back to that high level.
It is.
I'm working my way back and getting there. And, I was recently a volunteer of the year. I certainly would put that onto you or some other very deserving players this year. Or volunteers this year, but it's really been it's been a challenging year. It's been a fun year. It's been crazy, and I'm super glad that we were able to that it didn't just fall apart when I sort of had to take a step back. So, thanks everybody. Thanks Dan. Thanks Chris. Thanks Scott. Thanks Justin. Everybody who filled in for me. Or helped out or did anything related to this show. Everybody who's subscribing, everybody who's just chatting with us and watching every week. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to everybody here that you guys are interested in what we're doing. So thanks.
So that's all we got for this year, everybody. So we'll see everybody next year, 2021. Come on, everybody. Let's bring it.
Happy New Year, everyone.
We'll be back next week. Again, Paul Myers coming on. Good night, everybody.